Oh, Tashi Dele, hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing fine and welcome back to the Lojong session. So as usual, before we start the teaching, take some time to dedicate some practices, the recitations of some mantras and the Guru Rinpoche prayers. Of course, dedicating for all sentient beings' well-being, but in particularly the war to be end, natural disasters to be overcome, diseases such as the pandemic to be overcome, and then end to all the sufferings and obstacles that individual, whoever is facing it. Yeah. So before doing that, we generate altruistic motivation on the basis of refreshing refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Okay. Sangye Jodon Zoye Jonala, Janju Badu Dani Jazoje, Daje Zoje Be Zonamje, Dola Benjire Sangye Dubara Jo, Sangye Jodon Zoye Jonala, Janju Badu Dani Jazo, Daje Zoje Be Zonamje, Dola Benjire Sangye Dubara Jo, Sangye Jodon Zoye Jonala, Janju Badu Dani Jazo, Daje Zoje Be Zonamje, Dola Benjire Sangye Dubara Semje damje dewadan dewe jodan demra joje semje damje dunga dan dunga je jodan dawa joje semje damje dunga mebe dewadan mi dawa joje semje damje nyere jadan nyedan da danyola ne bara joroje semje damje dewadan dewe jodan demra joje semje damje dunga dan dunga je jodan dawa joje semje damje dunga mebe dewadan mi dawa joje Semje damje nyere jadan nyedan dawe danyola ne bara joroje semje damje dewa dan dewe jodan debra joje semje damje dunga dan dunga je jodan dawa joje semje damje dunga me ben dewa dan me dawa joje semje damje nyere jadan nyedan dawe danyola ne bara joroje Kange doje ne zo ne dawa namje bambe jene dambe jene denze bang godam de la jaze lo donye nye je zondo jo be lam seje zenje kanje dende ge chana be mo denze jazo so wan dem zo da je jinje lo tabje doje shaje re doje jinje men do doje be jo ba seje lön bo da bo ze be go shaje ja bo de la chaze lo Dayada om muni muni ma muna yeso ha dayada om muni muni ma muna yeso ha dayada om muni muni ma muna yeso ha dayada om muni muni ma muna yeso dayada om muni muni ma muna yeso ha dayada om muni muni ma muna yeso ha dayada om muni muni ma muna yeso ha dayada om muni muni ma muna yeso Dayada omo gade gade bara samgade bodhi yeso ha dayada omo gade bara samgade bodhi yeso ha dayada omo gade bara samgade bodhi yeso Dayada omo gade bara samgade bodhi yeso ha dayada omo gade bara samgade bodhi yeso ha dayada omo gade bara samgade bodhi yeso ha Mime zeve de jere se teme jembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jumse sanve da ganje jembe zujen zonga ba lo santa bishop la so ande mime zeve de jere se teme jembe ombo jambe yang de bon mali jumse sanve da ganje jembe zujen zonga ba Lojong dabi jam lo zo wa de mi me zebe derjen jere se teme jembe ombo jambe yang de bo mali jom ze sang ye da ganji jembe ze je zong ga ba lojong dabi jam lo zo wa mi me zebe derjen jere se teme jembe ombo jambe yang de bo mali jom ze sang ye da ganji jembe ze je zong ga ba lojong dabi jam lo zo wa mi me zebe derjen jere se teme jembe ombo jambe yang de bo mali jom ze sang ye da ganji jembe ze je zong ga ba Santa Bejana so and debe Omo mani beme home, 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 omo dare do re so ha, omo dare do re so ha, omo dare do re so ha, omo dare do re so. Omodare do dare do re zo ha, 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 omodare do dare do re zo. Omodare do dare do re zo ha, 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 omodare do dare do re zo. Omodare do dare do re zo ha, omodare do dare do re zo ha, omodare do dare do re zo ha, omodare do dare do re zo. Omodare do dare do re zo ha, omodare do dare do re zo ha, omodare do dare do re zo. Omodare do dare do re zo ha, omodare do dare do re zo ha, omodare do dare do re zo ha. Tayata omo beganze ma beganze ranza samunga dezo ha tayata omo beganze ma beganze ranza samunga dezo tayata omo beganze ma beganze ranza samunga dezo ha tayata omo beganze ma beganze Ranza zamonga de zo ha daya da mo beganze ma beganze ranza zamonga de zo ha daya da mo beganze ma beganze ranza zamonga de zo ha daya da mo beganze ma beganze ranza zamonga de zo daya da mo beganze ma beganze Ranza Samoga de Zoha. Omo Mare Zema Zoha, 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 Omo Mare Zema Zoha. Omo Mare Zema Zoha, Daye Jawadam Jeda, Keba Yela Sabede, Dinige Me Sejodu, Dubala Me Jingelo, Dajajo Me Jezedu, Dojo Me Joyanzazo. Semde zemele jume jiba gule nyudo jabdo zo jewa diye nyudo dan waze jema do june do aji jamale deye zalang barai jo. Now the Guru Rinpoche's prayer for protection from natural disaster. When obstacles arise in earth, water, fire, and air that threaten this illusory body of ours with destruction, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, with the goddesses of the four elements, you will harmonize the element into their natural state. Of this we have no doubt. To the lotus-born Guru Ujjain, we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Sajo mejo jo be barje je jule nye je je be de jonze yin te zo me ba se wa de wo je jo wa ji la mo je jo wa ran sa je wa de zo me wo je be ma ju ne la zo wa ma de samba rinje ndo ma jin je lo. for protection from weapons and persecution. When faced by killers on all sides, who threaten us with the lethal weapons, with no trace of doubt or hesitation, we pray, O Guru Rinpoche, the protection of your Vajra tent will cause killers to panic and weapons to be scattered. To the lotus-born Guru Ujjan we pray, grant your blessing so all our wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Kashi Jime Maji Tago Ne Yuzhen Jai Nembe Devjin Nyebana Yenye Tezoi Me Barais Wai De Oi Wijin Doje Gurdai Dembai Shemai Denjin Senjai Torbarai Joy Wijin Bemai June Lai Wai Debe Samba Lenje Dubarai Jinje Lo. The prayers to Guru Rinpoche for removing obstacles and fulfilling wishes. Embodiment of the Buddhas of the past, present, and future, Guru Rinpoche, Master of all Siddhi, Guru of great bliss, dispeller of all obstacles, wrathful subjugator of Maras. To you I pray, inspire me with your blessing, so that outer inner secret obstacles are dispelled, and all my aspirations are spontaneously fulfilled. Tezomo Zanje Guru Rimbo Je Yung Doi Gundai Dewa Jimbe Sha Pache Gunze De Adabe Ze Ayes Wang Debzo Jinje Labdo Zo Chena Zawe Barje Jewa Dai Zambai Linje Dubarai Jinje Lo Tesoma Sanje Guru Rimbo Che Yang Do Gunda Dewa Jimbe Parje Aygunze Ayadu Ayadabe Ze Ayazwa Dezo Jinje Aladuzo Chena Zawe Barje Jiwa Ayada Zaba Linje Dubarai Jinje Tezomo Zanje Guru Rimbo Je Yang Do Yagunda Dewa Jimbe Shaba Paje Aygunze Ayadu Ayadabe Yeze Ayazwa Dezo Jinje Labdo Chena Zawe Baje Jewa Tai Zamba Linji Ayadu Barai Omo Benzarai Guru Abema Zedehum 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 Tezomo Zanje Guru Rimbo Je Yang Do Yagunda Dewa Jimbe Shaba Paje Aygunze Ayadu Ayadabe Yeze Ayazwa Ayadebzo Jinje Labdo Yazo Chena Yazawe Baje Aishewa Yadai Zamba Linji Dobara Jinje Lo Oi Jawade Nyudo Dan Guru Rinpoche Drupyo Ne Dowa Jijama Lupa De Zalang Gu Bara Chanjo Zemjo Rinpoche Maji Panam Jijuje Jawa Nyemba Mepa Yang Gone Gondo Pewa Jo Donye Tawa Rinpoche Maji Panam Jijuje Jawa Nyemba Mepa Yang Gone Gondo Pewa Temye Tawa Rinpoche Maji Panam Jijuje Jawa Nyemba Mepa Yang Gone Gondo Pewa Bara Jo Kare Ravi Gwe Singamde Pendan Dewa Male Jungen Chere Zewa Tenzin Jazo Ye Jabe Sende Bado Tenjoje Topso Chanje Changwe Jawe Ten Zinjon Pepe Kunso Tobo She Chozon Gowe Leme Dodo Tazo Deje Kwando Jabden Sho Jambe Bawe Chidra Jemba Tang Kundu Zambo Tenyan Deshin Je Teta Kunje Chiso Talo Je Jawa Teta Tamje Rabdo Tuzon Jebe Jawa Tamje De Ngowa Kanglo Chodo Nga Bade Daji Jebe Tsawa Te Kunja Sambo Je Rabdo Ngowa Rai Pama Zemje Damje Tenda Tenjurje Ngendo Damje Tadu Tungwa Tang Janju Zemba Kana Suju Ba Teta Kunye Mala Tujuje Semje Nepa Jinye Ba Nyodo Nele Tajuj Reve Nene Male Ba Tadu Jungwa Me Barai Jo Betan Zowa Mingwe Be Yishin Nobo Pa Zamshin Semje Rewa Kunzu Samba Chushin Drebe Tai Ji Jo. Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. So now we start the teaching. Yeah, we are still studying the text Bodhisattva Samantabhadra's mind training. We are very much to the end of the text. This particular text, which is on page 223. So I will read from where we stopped last. It says like this. Now, to avoid forgetting the awakening mind throughout all your lives, relinquish the 4 negative factors and always learn to acquire the 4 positive factors. Train your mind to never abandon sentient beings and learn to relinquish the 4 conditions that lead to such abandonment, which are as follows. So, of course, the main theme of the entire Buddha Dharma, in particularly, in particularly Mahayanic path, then no question about Lojong mind training teachings. The main theme is altruism, Bodhicitta. As we all know the preciousness of Bodhicitta, how beneficial it is for your own temporary and ultimate benefit all the way up to enlightenment, as well as the temporary and ultimate benefit to rest of the numberless sentient beings. The benefits, very concise and very clear, the benefit, based on the sutras that compiled by Shantideva in the Bodhisattva Abhidharma in the first chapter, which many of us here very familiar with that. Those of you who are not familiar with the preciousness and the benefit of Bodhicitta, you can read the Bodhisattva Abhidharma or Bodhisattva's Way of Life by Shantideva, the first chapter, and you will know how precious, how important it is. More important than our life, more important than our heart, more important than the breath for our life, it's the greatest protection. So someone there who start to aspire to actualize bodhicitta, that already makes the person is so precious, the life becomes so meaningful. Then no question about someone really enter into the Mayani path by taking the Bodhisattva precepts, Bodhisattva vows, such as in the 18 root vows, 46 secondary vows, on the basis of, proper lay vows and the refuge vows. When someone start to be so serious about on the path, then can you imagine how precious that person become, how blessed that person become. Uh, then no question about someone that who literally enter into the, five parts of the Mayanic, spiritual journey, uh, when actualize irresible bodhicitta, uh, then uh, um, and especially those who are already obtained the Arya beings path, Arya Bodhisattva's path. Uh, 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 so so whichever category of practitioner we may be, one thing that we have to know, the commitment to practice altruism is not just for today, not just for this very year, not just for this very life. It is something to be cultivated entire rest of the existence, entire rest of the life. Even after achieve Buddhahood, the main cultivation is bodhicitta. So therefore, when you take the commitment, unlikely than individual liberation vows, like such as refuge vows, 5-day vows, sangha vows. But when it comes to Bodhisattva vow, once you take forever, beyond this lifetime. Mm. So the rest of the other vows are one lifetime vows. And then there are other precepts, is 1-day precepts, etc. But Bodhisattva vows, the commitment is forever. So that's we need to keep in the heart. So therefore, we need to find all the tools to guard the Bodhisattva aspiration, Bodhisattva precepts, and Bodhisattva practice, even after this lifetimes. No question about guarding within this lifetime now, but also have to find ways to guard for the rest of the future lifetime. So for that purpose, then this particular teaching, uh, it is about that. The four, abandoning of the four negative factors and adopting the four positive factors are the main tool to preserve the Bodhisattva precepts, beyond these lifetimes. So like that. So it's so now avoid forgetting the awakening mind. Avoid forgetting our awakening mind, the bodhicitta mind, throughout all lifetimes. Uh, by what? By relinquishing the four negative factors and always adopting the four positive factors. Mm, uh, mm, mm. Then on top of that, there are four conditions. So now what are the four negative factors? So it is very clearly stated in Lam Rim, the great Lam Rim. The translation has 3 volumes. So it is on the second volume. It is on the second volume. Those of you who wish to study that more detail, it is on page 76, Lam Rim Chenmo, the second version, second volume in English translation. So it says like this: the 4 dark practices or the factors are as follow. The first one is a deceiving abbot, master, guru, and those worthy of offerings or worthy of respects. Mm. Uh, And here Lama Tsongkhapa says, what might you do to these objects, such as abbots, gurus, etc.? That would be what might you do to this object? That would be dark practice. It is a dark practice if you consciously deceive any of them. So that is the meaning. So consciously deceiving abbot. Abbot here referring to those who grant you the vows, such as if you have received refuge vow or lay vows, then Buddhist vows, tantric vows, and no question about uh, the Sangha vows. From whom you receive those vows. These are the abbots. Then masters. Masters, you can refer to the all the teachers. Not necessarily, they are tie the relationship as a guru, but they are spiritual teachers. Uh, you know, to whom respectfully you have received, explanations of the sutras, tantras, guided you, through wise, virtuous advice. Those who act as your, responsible, who take responsibility of your discipline, your virtue, your virtuous life. They may not necessarily have to teach you the Dharma teaching, but they guard you from misdeeds. In Tibetan we call kakte gen. So then, uh, uh, then who what do you call the you know uh, you relate to that person uh, to get clarifications on the Dharma knowledge. Not necessarily as a designated teacher or guru, but to someone that you always go and get clarifications, because of the higher knowledge of that person, and you highly regard, respect, and receive, clarifications, such. Then, yeah. So then, those who first time taught you the alphabet, which I don't know how to relate that with in a Western education, but as far as concerned with the Tibetan study, uh, because of the learning of the alphabet, that someone as a monk, someone as a Buddhist student, the especially in the monastery, the main purpose of teaching you the alphabet is for you to able to read the Dharma scripture and able to understand the Dharma teaching. So even the person who taught you the alphabet, we regard as our teacher, and we still put in our merit field, when we do Guru Yoga practices, regard as one of the emanation, even though not a direct guru, but still object of your offering, object of your respect. Then someone there who taught you the basic human values, living him or herself in the example, and daily kind of guiding you. That could be your mother, that could be your father, that could be your brother or sister, or that could be your friend, virtuous friend. Like His Holiness Dalai Lama all the time says, his first teacher is his mother, who taught him the value of compassion, with herself living example. You see, so in our life too, our own mother, could be one of the guru, or guru and the teach, normal teacher, but at least someone that who is your teacher. Yeah, you see. worthy of your offering, your service, your respect. Like that. Then gurus, of course, from whom yeah, after you have established yourself as his or her disciple, then you receive even one, transmission of one single letter, syllable na or syllable a. Then you receive oral transmission of the the mantras and sutras. Then or commentaries, on the any form of teaching, sutra and tantra, explanations. Then receiving vows and initiations, and that kind of person is a gurus. Then the rest of the other worthy of offerings, such as Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Tathagatas, Arahats, Arya beings, those of all the Bodhisattvas, whether it's ordinary or whether it's Arya, all the Bodhisattvas also within this object, including of the Dharma protector, like Arya Dharma protectors, and those who are in the field of refuge, object of refuge, those Arya, the protectors and the deities. So all of them. So consciously deceiving them, it will obstacle to the preservation of Bodhicitta. So this is the meaning. Deceiving abbot, deceiving masters, gurus, easy to understand, but deceiving the Buddhas, like after taking refuge, then you don't observe the refuge precepts, like very basic precepts of taking refuge in the Buddha is you don't take refuge in the spirits, worldly gods. After taking refuge in the Dharma, then if you cannot benefit other, at least do not cannot harm other, whether to do with thought, actions, speech, at least not harming other. Then taking refuge in the Sangha, then you cannot associate with the non-virtuous friends, you see. But then you took the refuge vow, but then you are completely don't care about that. You become completely mixed up. So these are as if like Buddha won't see you. You're afraid of the human finding it out, but you don't feel uneasy or Buddha knowing this. You see, etc. Then. Like after receive the initiations of the deities, then not doing sadhana, whatever commitment is given to you, not doing those commitments properly, whatever commitment that you have, including of fulfilling the retreat commitments, etc. If you receive that in relation to that particular deity yoga practice, then not doing so, as if nobody will know it, and who cares, and you don't do, that's what it means deceive, deceiving the deities, and also it is a commitment that comes from channeled through your tantric guru. So you are also deceiving the guru and deceiving the master, deceiving the teacher, everything, then so like that. So now can understand with this few example, then the second one is second one, making others feel regret about something that is not regrettable. So that's the second one. And Lama Tsongkhapa said, the object is person cultivating virtue without regret. What you do to them. What is it? No. The object is a person's cultivating virtue without regret. So that's the object. Then what do you do to them? What do you do to them? you intentionally make them regret something they should not regret. Yeah, so again, this is not just talking about altruistic virtue. Any form of virtue, uh, you know, or whether what you call the, intentionally, even was it using the tool of words or facial expression, uh, to make them feel a regret of, performing those virtues. Then worse, if they are cultivating a bodhicitta, then you cause them to regret of cultivating bodhicitta simply because of you intentionally, uh, you know, want to stir them up by saying that, you cannot even help yourself. You try to be like a hero, to work for the benefit of all sentient beings. It's nonsense. You see. So this is a stupid thing that you are doing. How stupid that you do that. If you are wise enough, first you take care of yourself. You build your empire. Then you go and work for others. You try to, practice the altruism. If happen to say like that, if happen to uh, show any expression like that, and other person uh, kind of really, take it seriously about the word that you just expressed, and feel regret about whatever effort that he have invested in benefiting others. Mm. uh, then he start to feel that, oh, I have wasted so much of my time, working for the benefit of others, uh, you know and so you feel regretful, or someone there who is, like working in the Dharma center or in the monastery, and they say, there's no benefit, you're doing that, rather you should take care of your own home, or then the person kind of feel regret about what he or she have done. Mm? uh, or then um, it can be in the society or in individual level, someone have been working for the dharma, working for the guru, working for the center, and just because of you know your language, just to blame the person, whatever you have done, all the good things, even how good it is, whatever you have done, is everything is a mistake, everything is regrettable, you know even though the person may have done some mistakes, but a person also may have done so many good things, you see. So but then you just completely kind of discourage the person, make him feel that he really, like somehow in the eyes of people that he have done everything is wrong, and he feels so regretful, or he or she feels so regretful. That will obstacle to break break one's own, Bodhisattva precepts. You see, so like that. So you see, we have to be so careful. When someone practicing even the slightest of virtue, we have to praise them, acknowledge them, reward them. You see, and we have to be so mindful to make sure in every, you know in every way that not to bring any impressions of discouragement to someone that who is engaging in any form of virtue, even how slight it may be, even how many mistakes they are making, but still they are trying, engaging in the virtue, even just one moment a year, or one virtues a year also, still they are trying, even how much great influence of their past karma and delusions are obstacling them, but they still, keep trying, even it may be just small virtue. We have to encourage them, we have to praise them, we have to acknowledge them, we have to support them. uh, we cannot in any way discourage them, you see. So like that. So, and this is for your own benefit, your own benefit of, if you have not realized bodhicitta yet, then, you know it would become more obstacle for you to, actualize bodhicitta. If you already taken Bodhisattva vow and cultivating Bodhisattva practices, this will cause your Bodhisattva precepts. Then, for a long time, it's so difficult to inspire to continue the practice. Or even you are someone that high level of practice, but due to carelessness happen to do that, then there's a danger of degenerations of the Bodhisattva practices, Bodhisattva precepts. Or even Bodhisattva cannot be Bodhicitta cannot be degenerated like those of Arya being, but then you are not being mindful. If you happen to cause like that to others, then the progress will be delayed. You see, so very, very heavy, and no question about being obstacle for future lifetimes in the preservation of the bodhicitta. You see, so like that. Then the third one is speaking disparagingly, etc., to beings who have correctly entered the Mahayana. So speaking, in a word, using a word in hostile, those who are already entered into the Mahayanic path. So here there are many different assertions. What do you mean by enter into the Mahayanic path? So the general understanding is when you take the Bodhisattva precept, a Bodhisattva vow, then you are legitimate. You are really enter into Mahayanic path. So until then, just getting inspired and just learning, just having a lot of interest in the Mahayanic teaching, it doesn't mean that you have entered into Mahayanic, enter into the Mahayana, in the Mahayanic practitioner. You see, so this again is good to know. When you are really, qualified to be Mahayanist, then the qualification really start when you take the Bodhisattva vow. So any kind of criticisms, okay, maybe I read here what Lama Tsongkhapa said. Here the object has to be understood as any Bodhisattva, starting with those who have generated the aspirational spirit of enlightenment, even those who have taken aspirational Bodhisattva vow. Aspirational spirit of enlightenment. What is done to this Bodhisattva is to speak disparagingly, with blame, with liable, and so forth. The assertion that what is said has been motivated by hatred, motivated by hatred. So it's mainly motivated by hatred, or even jealousy, or any form of disliking. Then someone that who has Bodhisattva vow, even just aspirational Bodhisattva vow, which most of the Mahayanic Buddhist practitioners have, then you blame them, you criticize, you defame them, insult them, demoral them, or just pointing out any of the faults that they have, just simply pointing out any limitation that individual have, that also count. Then that will become a huge obstacle to your own preservation of Bodhisattva precept, Bodhicitta. As I mentioned before, in all anger it becomes obstacle, and especially continuing to sustainable continuation of preservation of the Bodhisattva practice in future lifetimes. You see, so we have to be so careful. There are so many so-called as a Mahayanic practitioner, some more monks and nuns, and some more among lamas, among geshes, and some more among who who lead, certain group, group or organizations or institutes, or have some students or whatever, then, criticizing each other among the Mahayanic fellows, pointing our finger among Mahayanic fellows. It is a disaster, it's a disaster. You see, is for all, but especially, someone that who carries some responsibility, then start to bad talk about other Mahayanic practitioners, bad talk, senseless talk, pointing limitations, isn't it? We sometimes we ourselves, there's a danger of doing it, isn't it? Many times in danger doing it, isn't it? Then we witness there are many others doing it, isn't it? Sometimes in front of your face, people just only point all the faults of other Mahayanic practitioners, isn't it? Isn't it? You have encountered, many of you have encountered many like that, isn't it? Among our own Dharma circle, isn't it? So that is huge mistake. Is completely disaster. Causing to lose one of the most precious, as I already mentioned at the beginning. Read the preciousness, the benefit in the Bodhisattva alone. Then in the Paramita Sutra, everywhere is talking about the benefit of Bodhicitta by the Buddhas, by the Panditas, by the Mahasiddhas, everyone. You see, is very much, in sum up in one word, all the past Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have searched that one thing that genuinely, truly, ever benefits you and for rest of the other, they cannot find anything except Bodhicitta, can sum up in here, you see. So we have that, but because of, carelessness, delusion, then we start to talk bad thing about each other among the Mahayanic practitioners, even how ordinary it may be, as mentioned before. Someone that who just got the aspirational spirit of enlightenment, not even engaging spirit of enlightenment, even just even aspirational, aspirational, the commitment to practice the bodhicitta, so very much in the Mahayanic organizations, those who ever come to regular kind of practices, especially those who already taken initiation, no doubt, all of us have these precepts, that no way we can talk bad thing about each other, we can criticize each other, we can put down each other. No. It's almost like almost like, there's not even a word in such thing could happen like that, So it's a very serious thing. So we have to keep in heart, those who really value the Dharma, value yourself, your spiritual path, have to be so serious about that, So I'm just reading few points here only. If you study yourself, then there are so many details, I'm just giving you some like specific points only, So even that you can see how serious it is, isn't it? Now the fourth one is, in an absence of sincerity, using deceit and misrepresentation to get the service of others. So then for that, Lama Tsongkhapa said, the object is any living being other than yourself. What is done to this being is you act with the deceit and misrepresentations. So this one, you see, as a Bodhisattva practitioner, we kind of let other to serve you, just in the boastful way, say I am senior, so you have to serve me. I am longer time practicing Dharma, so you are just newcomer. So you have to you have to service me, then etc. So then because of I am such and such great, so therefore I am your object of prostration, object of respect, object of offering, object of praise, uh, uh, so as a someone who genuinely the precept of Bodhisattva is being humble, very much um, put everyone above you, everyone, because everyone, you regard everyone as a teacher, everyone as a Buddha, everyone as a Bodhisattva, you are in the service of numberless sentient beings, not no one is in the service of you, from your regard, no one is supposed to be service to you. You are in the service of numberless sentient beings, you see. So there's no room for abuse, ego, misrepresentations, etc., like that. Okay, so these are the four the negative forces, or four negative factors, or the four dark practices to be avoided. Or this last one is, again, is very much infused or initiated by attachment. Like the earlier one is like more of hatred, even though there's an involvement of attachment, ignorance, all the delusions, but mainly, this one is attachment. Due to attachment, then you deceit and misrepresentation to get service of others, etc., like that. Okay, so now what are the four positive practices, or four light practices, four virtuous practices? So the first one is forsaking consciously lying to any living beings whatsoever, even in jest or even for a sake of your life. Then Lama Tsongkhapa says, the object of the first of the four light practice is any living beings. What you do is forsake consciously lying even for the sake of your life, or even in the jest. Mm. Mm. So, so lying here is, once you practice Mayanic Dharma, the Bodhicitta, you're going to relate rest of the sentient being only with love, unconditional love and great compassion, genuine empathy, and genuine kindness. So that's what you choose to practice. That's what Bodhicitta practice, what Mayani practice is. But then you relate to other as a foyer. You relate to other as a competitor. You relate to other, in any form of negative hurtfulness, or in negative way, even you express that with the sense of jokingly, playfully, even playfully, no question about seriously, even playfully you relate to other with negatively, hurtfully, make fun of others, that will obstacle. So that will obstacle our preservation of bodhicitta. And forsaking that, even in the fun way, even in the jokingly, directly or indirectly, somewhere somehow relating other, relating other negatively, abandoning that is one of a very precious virtue, the virtuous practice, or the virtuous factor, that which we always need to practice, which is called the light practice, four light practice. The first one, that will help to those who have not actualized bodhicitta, it will quickly actualize bodhicitta. Those who already have bodhicitta, it will increase faster, develop faster. Then that will create so much conducive conditions to sustain the Bodhisattva practices, even after beyond this lifetime, like that. Now the second one is not deceiving, but remaining sincere to all living beings. Then Lama Tsongkhapa says the object of the second of the four light practice is all living beings. What you do is not deceiving them, but maintain your sincerity. That is very much, remain honest with them. Remaining honest with them. Honest in the sense here. Honest here is being honest. Here is being honest in altruism. Not like the being honest in our worldly way. Worldly way is being honest is if someone is bad, you straight say bad. You don't filter. You say straight away you are bad. Or what's that? Oh, you just did terrible thing. You are a very bad person because you did it. I have evidence to you. So that's our usual way, honesty. Right is right, wrong is wrong, whatever. In a conventional way, you see. But when someone practicing Bodhisattva, even someone who is murderous, someone who is the worst being in the whole universe, even someone whose only intention is to kill you, or even kill our own parent, but still have to relate them with compassion, with care and gentleness, politeness, using all the tools of skillfulness to help that person, like regarding the worst being as a like central object of your prayer, your dedication of merit, like that. So being honest here is, as a Bodhisattva practitioner, as a Mahayanic practitioner, for us being honest is not like the way how we be honest in our normal life. So we have to, again, this one is very, very, very important to think carefully. We are so influenced by our ordinary way. We are taught to be honest, and which is good to be honest. You see, but when you are enter into the practice of Mahayanic Dharma, now you need to, adjust. What do you mean by being honest? You see, that person has a lot of bad thing. That person has a lot of bad thing. But in honesty speaking, for a bad person saying you are bad, in honesty speaking, it doesn't really work. We think it works. We have to finger point so that we shame them so that, they will get better. But in actual reality, very hard, very hard. When someone is already very bad, on top of that, everyone say you are bad. Everyone put them down. Their negative emotion doesn't show in their face. Doesn't show in their color. It is inside. Their anger become more intense. Their grudge become more intense. Their negativity become more intense. The real destroyer is from inside. Even you chain them, entire their limb in the prison, as long as they don't eliminate the inner demon, the inner badness of the person, that person going to continue to harm himself and harm others. Even that person dies in the prison, but that person will take rebirth. Maybe take rebirth even worse than that bad human being. It may take as a very harmful Mara spirit, then destroy the whole universe. Possible. You see, there are many stories. Individual that who did wrong thing, then the society, society, oppress them, or even jail them. But then they are but they didn't gain the wisdom. They didn't get the lesson. Rather, their grudge become even stronger than before. Then after that, they die there, and they're born as such a destructive force of spirit, and destroy the villages, destroy the cities, destroy, taking many lives like that. There are many stories, you see. Mm. There are stories who even tell them who they are, and now they are destroying because of because of this village, destroy him, punish him. You see, so therefore, the altruistic dharma, the way of understanding how to heal negative being is not by giving more pain to them, punishing them. The only tool to heal is through even being more kind, more compassion, so you say more compassion like that, so sometimes when we don't know this well, then we think that is, doing bad people, bad people are treated even better. And sometimes that happen in a monastery. Even I used to think when I was younger time, I used to think, how come our teachers treat uh, the student who do all the bad things, and even there's only one good thing, in the public praise about him, give him present, and taking more, giving more attention. But then someone here working day and night and try to be so obedient, never acknowledge, never say good thing, never pay attention, and you feel it's like unjust. You feel unjust, you see. But when you start to learn the Dharma, actually they are practicing accordingly with most beneficial, using the most beneficial tool of altruistic method, then those, those naughty, students, eventually, they really nurtured by the compassion of the teacher, and later part of their life, they become unbelievable, great beings, Even in my class in Sarah, there's one of the classmates, when he was a little, oh my goodness, uh, that he already become monk then, but still little, he was still attending the school, not yet started the philosophy debate yet. He's so naughty, no question about study zero. On top of that, he don't listen to anybody, and in front of everyone, he always go and catch, frog, then find a very sharp, like a bamboo or whatever sticks, like toothpick, like stick like that, live frog, poke from the other side to the other side, then circle like that, that much naughty, that much terrible. But then there are other friends, students, who are like doing so hardworking, study, so humble, never do all this kind of thing, uh, but then the teacher, pay more attention to that person, the naughty one, and give more present to that naughty one, and instead of scolding, being so gentle, very gentle advice. You see, even though it takes, number of years, 5 6 7 8 years, but later this person, this monk, really become like arhat. you know his body, speech, he really remorse of all what he have done, to extensive purification, that he become most compassionate. He always go around and feed, animals, and save animals lives, and always recite Om Mani Padme Hum, always meditate like that, and that is, I would say, is the blessing of the skillful, uh, the compassionate way, the altruistic way the teacher use, and those good one, just, already very good. So it's just a matter of time. They will anyway will get good, will get better, isn't it? But those bad one, if you um, neglect them, they're going to be a monster, isn't it? So like that. So this is something that I think, we have to know. Then the third one is developing the idea that all bodhisattvas are teacher. Then Lama Tsongkhapa says, the object of the third light practice of all bodhisattvas, what you do to this, what you do is, um, develop the idea that they are similar to the teacher. and voice in four direction praise of their characters. Mm. So, so this is the practice that all the Bodhisattvas, all the Bodhisattvas, whether you have a direct connection as a spiritual relationship or not, everyone, as a minor practitioner, as someone who has Bodhisattva practice, you have to regard them as your teacher. That's another practice. Then all the time offer praises, chant praises, conversation of the good qualities of the Bodhisattvas, such as the qualities of Bodhicitta, Bodhisattva's deeds, So this is this is one thing, So maybe this is quite easy, not that difficult, isn't it? Uh, It says you should train in the pure perception of all living beings that comes from developing the idea of all beings are the teacher. Or this is another, one of the sutra, Kashyapa chapter, emphasize that you should train in the pure perception of all living beings that comes from the developing the idea of all beings are the teacher. Not only just Bodhisattvas, you can even add, you regard all sentient beings as your teacher, respect them as your teacher. And that is clearly, Buddha himself says, how much you respect to me, that equal respect goes to the rest of the sentient being. You see. Then he said, you should praise Bodhisattva when there are listener on hand. You see. So whenever you are among others, you talk about the qualities of Bodhisattva and qualities of Bodhicitta. But you incur no faults if you do not go out into the four direction praising them. If you don't talk about the qualities of the Bodhisattva, but never talk about the faults of the Bodhisattvas, So as what the Kashyapa chapter said, then if you cannot praise the sentient beings, if you cannot sport and acknowledge even there may be just one good quality in the sentient being, but never talk bad thing about anyone. And such a beautiful teaching, isn't it? So wonderful. Then the fourth one is causing the living being that you are helping to mature to not want the modest vehicle, but to adhere to perfect enlightenment. So Lama Tsongkhapa said, the object of the fourth light practice is a living being that you are helping to mature. What you do to them is cause them to not to want the modest vehicle, which is talking about the lower vehicle, the part of the lower vehicle, in the solitary or hero vehicle, but to adhere to perfect enlightenment. So whenever whoever that you want to inspire, the spiritual path, whoever come and ask you Dharma question, whoever that you teach Dharma, or even just illustrate yourself, even though maybe in your family members and circle of friends, they are not practicing Bodhicitta yet. They are not practicing even Buddha Dharma yet. But then you have to always, speak and always show the example, your physical example, to lead them to the Bodhisattva's path and for enlightenment. Never to discourage them, never to, in the text it says that not to lead them, not to cause them to follow give up the higher vehicle and follow the lower vehicle, but even to those beginners, the example that you show is, not to give up Dharma, because of, seeing your attitude, seeing your character, that you carry the name of Buddhist, you carry the name of altruistic practitioner, but the way you relate to your friends and family, you are more angrier than them, you are more grasping than them, you are more unstable than them. You see, you are more untamed than them. You see, you are more violent than them. That will really disappoint them. Never to be a Buddhist. If I be Buddhist, be like you. Why I should be Buddhist? I'm better than you. You know. Or then as a Mayani practitioner, be among the other Buddhist practitioner. Then seeing your character, there's a danger for those even who are practicing Bodhicitta may give up and rather follow the Hinayana path. So so therefore the one of the practice we always have to practice is always genuinely in the heart, always carry the altruistic motivation. Speech always carry altruistic aspirational voices. Physically, you always humble, peaceful, helpful, gentleness, kindness. Uh, you become like inspirational. So then these are the four positive factors that benefits to the security of sustainable practice of bodhicitta. Okay, so this is what it says in the root text. um, Overcome the four negative factors and acquire the four positive factors. So the Lam Rim text, for detailed reading, you can read from page 76 all the way up to page 80 in the second volume. Then after that, the four conditions. It says, train your mind to never to abandon sentient beings, and learn to relinquish the four conditions. Relinquish the four conditions that lead to such abandonment, which are as follow. What are they? First one, if you entertain the thought, how can I work for the welfare of so many sentient beings? So instead of thinking like that, think instead, the more there are, the greater my awakening mind will become enhanced. You see, uh, um, the more the number of the object that you have to bring benefit of your love, kindness, etc. Your altruism even greater enhance. You see, uh, an example. You express unconditional love, kindness, and compassion, altruism to one person. Now when you need to express that to the 10 people in your family, you know you in fact, instead of discourage, you become even more courage in your altruistic practice. More confident that I can do it, and I should do more than that. Then you expand to the rest of the humanity, instead of thinking that, oh, that's too many people for me to really relate with such altruism. Instead of thinking like that, your altruism even get greater. The confidence and the strength of the altruism become even greater than before. Then when you think about the rest of the numberless sentient beings, and especially when you think of those who are in a tremendous condition of wickedness, those who are in a hell realm, those who are completely, no even no sight of even a slightest form of virtue. When you think about that, many people get discouraged. For good people, I can able to relate with altruism, but for someone there who they choose not to, you know embrace with virtue, I cannot handle them. We easily may give up, isn't it? So here, not like that. The more the difficult family member that you have, the more the greater strength of altruistic, it grow in you. The more the wicked beings out there, the more the strength and more the confidence of your altruism grows. So like that. And the second one is relinquishing the negative functions. Mm. Although it may not be possible to physically befriend all beings, but you should nonetheless attempt to at all time and mentally gather them. Physically, really to go reach to everywhere and be friend with You see, someone really choose to be enemy with you. Someone really don't want to talk to you, but then you cannot go physically try to be so nicely to them, because they won't appreciate you. There are so many beings like that. Then so many beings are physically so distant. So many beings are emotionally so distant. And so many beings are even together with you, but then they choose to be separate from you. Even in that condition, your heart be friend with the rest of the numberless sentient beings. Take rest of the numberless sentient being as the most precious as a mother, like how we practice that. Regard all sentient beings as precious as your mother, as closest to yourself. Most precious to yourself. And uh, uh, always tell yourself that that is my vision of life. That's my responsibility. That's the way out myself from samsara, and to benefit the rest of the sentient being way out from their samsara. uh, so like that. So those are the negative mind you have to really you have to overcome. Then you have to cultivate those good conditions. Third one is relinquishing through perceiving the object of silent existence. Just as there are numerous sufferings, you should correspondingly eliminate them and remove them from sentient beings. So, so number three is more about the method aspect of the practice, main focus method aspect practice, and number four is more focus on the wisdom aspect of the practice. Very much dealing all the negative circumstances, including of the samsaric suffering. Uh, uh, Never to discourage because of the samsara that you yourself has to carry on. As long as this contaminated aggregates is with you, then thinking of the domination of the samsaric nature in other sentient beings, such as the powerful force of delusion, powerful force of karma, as I explained before. They are just they just don't appreciate dharma. They just don't appreciate people's love. They just want to be violent. They're out there like that. So you're thinking of cultivation of, or the thinking or the understanding, perceiving the nature of the suffering in yourself, then you develop genuine sense of renunciation towards all the negative forces, such as attachment to the worldly concern, sensual desire, distractions. You renounce it. Then using that as a reason, like how we learn in Lam Rim, using that as a reason, your samsaric position as a reason, then perceiving rest of the other sentient being in the samsaric, similar position, then you develop that renunciation into a great compassion, absolute altruism, great compassion, and express the altruism to rest of the numberless sentient beings. So it's talking about that. Um, the negative side is because of seeing the limitation in you, then you give up the practice. Then seeing limitation in others, such as samsaric limitation in other, then you give up on them. It's very much like in a good time we practice, and bad time we cannot practice. Not like that. So we have to practice in the course of perceiving the in the reason of perceiving the limitation in sentient being, the suffering. Therefore, you need to practice altruism. Fourth one is relinquishing through perceptions of emptiness. If you do not recognize what is empty to be empty and grasp that it is a substantial reality, you undergo suffering. What a pity, you see. So this is again similar. You rationalize why you suffer, why you are in samsara, because of the wrong view, because of the ignorance of grasping, the empty of inherent nature to the substantial, substantial existent, substantial reality existent. And because of that grasping ignorant, you know, uh, serve that as a basis to develop all the delusion and commit all the karma, then we suffer in samsara. Similar goes to the rest of the sentient being. Why they suffer? Because of the ignorant. That's how that they are fall into samsara. So very much uh, understanding the the absolute reason why sentient beings are suffering is because of ignorance, and putting effort to dispel that ignorance. And the way to dispel that is, not by kind of, there's no way that you can transfer your realization on them. Buddha also didn't able to do that. Not by kind of cleansing the dirt, like how you cleanse the dirt from your clothes by washing. It doesn't work that way. So by providing the path of truth, which you yourself realize, and you share the path to them, and by them themselves following that truth of the path, they're able to achieve the cessation of the nirvana, or the enlightenment. You see. So for that purpose, then I must have actualized full enlightenment to bring effectiveness of delivering the message of the path to the sentient being. That's the ultimate way to liberate sentient being. So for that purpose, I must practice dharma. I must actualize enlightenment. I must actualize the altruistic wisdom and altruistic method. That's the only way that I can equip all the tools to bring infinite benefit to sentient beings. So like that, you see. So the opposite side is, never put effort to learn the dharma, never put effort to learn the emptiness, never put effort to learn the emptiness. So that is the bad condition. You see. So even you learn the emptiness, but then never to apply, never to meditate and apply into our day-to-day practices. So that is the false condition, negative condition. Mhm. Then when it comes to others, they say, people won't understand. People won't have a capability to understand. People are already ignorant. So giving up just because of that. Uh, so so those are bad conditions. So the good condition is that you yourself, the cure for rest of the other sentient being is you yourself achieving Buddhahood. As like how Shakyamuni Buddha revealed the Dharma to us, and now we are really traveling on the path to liberation, isn't it? Similar way, there are so many other sentient beings who has a special karma of their enlightenment towards you. So therefore, you have to achieve enlightenment. For that, you need to realize emptiness. For that, you need to learn about emptiness. You need to have aspiration on emptiness. You see. So when you have those force of interest, and these are the good condition. Okay, so that so in this manner, relinquish the four conditions that lead to abandonment of the sentient being, and enhance your compassion for sentient being as much as possible. When the awakening mind, equalizing all sentient beings, arise, it is stated, the Bodhisattva Avadacharya, in the first chapter. It says like this: when the awakening mind has arisen in them, instantly wretched, isn't it? I think you read like that, isn't it? Wretched, captive in samsara's prison, are held as the children of the Sugatas. They are reverted by the wall of God and humans. See, another way of reading is, should Bodhisattva, should Bodhicitta comes to birth in individual, should Bodhicitta come to birth in one who suffering in the dungeons of samsara, in that instant he is called the Buddha's heir, worshipful alike to gods and the humans and the men. Uh, so, mm, mm, so so very much, it's very clear, isn't it? So the moment bodhicitta, bodhicitta, even the aspiration of bodhicitta that arises in you, even you are samsaric, suffering being, that very moment, then you become as precious as as object of veneration. You become the child. You become like the Bodhisattva, like the child of the Buddhas, like that. Again, there are so many clear illustration of that in Bodhisattva Charya. Then many other Paramita sutras emphasize like that. It's like uh, mm, in the moment of snap, when the Bodhicitta, when even the aspiration of Bodhicitta arise, in that moment of snap, the worst person become the best person. The worst, the most filthiest, most negative person now become the most purest, most altruistic, most venerable being. It become like that. Mm. So you see, some individual have a very low self-esteem and always think low about yourself, and some people really done a lot of bad things, and that, and you think very low about yourself. Now, when if you want to cleanse yourself, the best way to cleanse is not by taking shower, not by kind of changing the circle of friends or moving in a different city. It doesn't work that way. The best method is try to develop bodhicitta. At least take the aspiration of Bodhisattva precept and try to engage in the Bodhisattva deed in your very best. In that very moment, you are completely cleansed from bad to a good, like that. Okay, so such Bodhisattva trained to be modest in their desire and to seek inner contentment. So that's like that. In their guarding of the mindfulness, introspective vigilance, they train just like Arya Kadayana. So Arya Kadayana is one of Buddha's disciple that who is especially good in training of mindfulness and especially mindfulness practice, as well as Arya Kadayana serve as one of a very important disciple that who help to share Buddha's teaching to the world, like that. Those who conduct themselves in the manner of an illusion, because they are free of arrogance, are like mirror reflections of a person, like one's own hand feeding one's mouth. They are free of an expectation of reward. Like an illusory person, they harbor no hopes of result, since they have unconditionally given their bodies, wealth, and the roots of the virtue away. They are said to be like the Buddhas. So talking about Bodhisattva. So when you really adopt the Bodhisattva's attitude and Bodhisattva's wisdom, then you and other sentient beings very much like become like a mirror reflection. That's you whatever you see in your mirror, you show the respect and you grasp exactly as you, isn't it? You see, it's very much like your the whatever you are in the mirror is your own recognition, isn't it? Similar, when you practice bodhicitta, then all sentient being is not different than you. It's talking about that. Then like one's own hand feeding one's mouth, when you feed food to your mouth, you don't expect any kind of like thank you from your mouth to the hand, isn't it? Hand, thank you for feeding me, isn't it? It's like your duty, since it's your hand, you need to take and you need to put in the mouth. This is your job. Your responsibility, isn't it? You don't wait for reward. Okay, only when I get reward, then I will pick the water. Then not like that, isn't it? uh, so it's ever present. Whenever the thing need to that. Yeah, need to use hand, and it's yeah. So anyway, better leave it like that. So like this, you see. So therefore, this is what it mean. The meaning is when you serve sentient being, working for the sentient being, dedicating your life for the sentient being, practicing very hard, dedicating for the sentient being, everything you really do as you do for yourself. And the benefit is literally doing for yourself. It's equal as doing for yourself. That whatever you do to others, the first one that who receive benefit is yourself. You see. So in another way, there's no different from you and other in actual, uh, in actual nature. The nature of others, nature of you is aspire for happiness, aspire for liberation, and do not aspire for suffering. Isn't it? So therefore, from every angle, from this conventional angle, we all are same. You and others are all same. You see. Then from the ultimate angle, all lies in the one same nature. Same emptiness nature. So therefore, just carry different names, different looks, different colors, whatever. But everyone, is the same. Is very much like a same soul. What was it? Same continuum. Sorry, same continuum. So therefore, the main meaning here is that um, never to ask for reward when you practice altruism. You do everything selflessly, and you always do that. The all others are the supreme, object of your offering, your benefit, your service. You see, and you do that consistently and forever. You see, and these are the how when you become Bodhisattva, these are the practices that spontaneously comes in your way. And in fact, this kind of spontaneous uh, the wisdom and the attitude relating to all other sentient beings altruistically is the thing that what Buddha does. What Buddha does. So therefore, the Bodhisattvas are very much like Buddhas. This is what I mean. Okay, although this is not yet the time to actually give away your body, make sure that you will to give is perfect thought, pure thought, through pure thought. Mm. And so right very now, we have no ability to give our body, like how the great Bodhisattvas would do, give limbs away, and give entire your wealth away, entire your food away, and you stay hungry, you have no home. No, we don't have that ability. We are still carry ordinary body, ordinary life, in an ordinary environment. We don't have that capability, but at least our heart, we are capable to that. So in our heart, in our dedication, we really literally dedicate everything for the benefit of others. And that way it will create the causes. Eventually we come to a point that we have the actual resources to give everything away, without any bringing limitation in you, in whatever you need. You see, at the same time you can able to give everything away like that. uh, so that's what the master said. So in future the time will come when even a Bodhisattva, you will perform the enlightened deeds of the Buddha. So in future, even the Bodhisattvas will perform Buddha's deeds. You as a non, you as a not, you as an ordinary person, that eventually you will perform a Bodhisattva's deeds. Those ordinary Bodhisattvas will perform eventually Arya Bodhisattva's deeds. Those Arya Bodhisattvas eventually will perform Buddha's deeds. So everything will come in that way. So becoming fully enlightened and having attained the Dharmakaya, the fulfillment of your own interests, the fulfillment of the welfare of all three type of realms, pure, impure, and the mixed, will take place until the end of silent existence, um, through the two form bodies which constitute the perfection of others' interests. Mm. So when you become Buddha, then you achieve your ultimate aim, your ultimate benefit, which is the Dharmakaya. Then by achieving Buddhahood, you also achieve the ultimate benefit of all sentient beings, which is the two form bodies of Buddha, Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya form bodies of the Buddha. Those are the interests of the benefit of other sentient beings, which will continue, which will benefit, which right now, past Buddhas are benefiting. And when you become Buddha, you will benefit to the pure, impure, and the mixed. You can, those of the pure beings, such as uh, like those in the Arya realm, such as Sambhogakaya, Buddha's emanation bodies benefiting them. Then the uh, in the God realm, in the human realm, like, we are very much in the fortunate realm. Those are very much like kind of mixed with the fortune and non-fortunes, and the nirmana kind of form of Buddhas are benefiting us. And those who are, in the impure realms, such as animal, hungry ghosts, hell realm, are very miserable realms. So there are also Buddhas and Bodhisattvas emanated there. The one of the Buddha's previous life was there in the evic hell realm, benefiting that. So similar like that. There are so many Bodhisattvas, benefiting like that, and you will do the same thing. So he's talking about that. And that way, you ever, enjoy the perfections of your own interests and perfections of others' interests, all like that. So then after you say iti, this has been hidden as a secret. So I don't know about this. There may be some right here, maybe in this particular word, the combination of the two, three letters, a, tha, and kigu. There may be some, secret pit instructions may be there, and that may be hidden, or it is talking about that. In fact, the whatever the teaching that we have discussed is, in fact, is a very most precious and very very profound and secret dharma. And of course, altruistic dharmas are really secret dharma. So maybe it's referring to that. Yeah. Okay, so now the conclusion. The Master Atisha gave this teaching to glorious Gombowa, he to Rinchen Nabruba, then through to Kergom Sangye one, then Sangye Gomba, Kemboche, Loben Shajatashi, Yamabatashi Janzen, to Buddharana, to Kirti Sila, to Jaya Badra, to Punyarana, and he to Mipam Cheje. Okay, thank you very much. Now this complete this particular text. So from next week onward, we start from the same volume of text. The following chapter here is chapter 22. So 8-session mind training. So we will study that. Okay. Thank you very much. So now we do a short dedication. May whatever merit that we accumulate from this session and whatever merit that accumulate in the past, present, future, all the merits that we have rejoiced, the merit of Buddha, Bodhisattvas, gurus, and the sentient beings of the past and present, may all this quality merit be complete cause for numberless sentient beings to be free from oceans of samsaric suffering and actualized state of full enlightenment. May this quality merit be complete cause for the war in the Ukraine and the conflict that going on in the world leaders and individuals, or then the pandemic and natural disasters and the sicknesses, everything to be and pacified instantly without delay even a moment. May whatever cure and antidote and protection there may be for all this, such as war, such as famine, such as diseases, including pandemic, to be most effective. May this quality merit be complete cause. Anyone who passed away, especially in the last 49 days, will be free from suffering of death, intermediate state, rebirth. They actualize rebirth in Buddha's pure land and to actualize enlightenment within that very lifetime. May this quality merit be complete cause. All the world leaders, the leaders of organizations, the leaders of individual family who lead their family, and yourself who lead your life, be free from all the negative emotions and unhappiness and the sufferings, and fill their heart with full of altruistic attitudes, loving kindness, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, gratitude, virtues, and the wisdom of selfless and emptiness, so that anyone under their leadership can able to enjoy only virtues, dharma, and happiness. May this quality merit be complete cause all the good people in this world, like His Holiness the Lama, all your spiritual gurus, and all the good people around the world, and like yourself, your family members, always enjoy good health, long life, and fulfill all your aspirations accordingly. May this quality merit be complete cause, all the virtuous institutions, monasteries, nunneries, and all the Dharma centers, especially all the Dharma centers in Australia, including of the FPMD Australia National Office. Whatever inner outer secret obstacle they may be, pacified instantly without delay, even a moment, and actualize all the conducive conditions to preserve the Dharma in most extensive learning, and actualize all the realization on the stages of the path, and all the people who serve always enjoy good health, a long life, and fulfill all the aspirations accordingly. May this collective merit be complete cause, may we be able to practice and preserve, secure the Bodhisattva, the Mahayanic Dharma that we have, the Bodhicitta practice that we have, Bodhisattva vow that we have, not only preserve perfectly in this lifetime, but ever lifetime, ever lifetime until we achieve the full enlightenment. And never to encounter those negative 4 factors, and ever to be present with the 4 positive factors, and never to encounter those 4 negative conditions, and ever to be present all those 4 positive conditions. And may our life from this very moment onward be like the wish fulfilling jewel to all the numberless sentient beings, happiness and enlightenment. Now the dedicator, ourselves, the merit, and the purpose that we dedicate all understand in the nature of emptiness, in the nature of interdependent rising. Oh yeah. So whatever any specific dedication do you wish to do, please do so. I will recite some dedication prayers. O jewa de nyudo da lama zanje do jene do aji jamalo ba de sala gobara sho janjo zem joram ba je maje banam ji ji jewa nyamba me ba yo gone godo pe ba jo tonye da ware ba je maje banam ji ji jewa nyamba me ba yo gone godo pe ba jo ne da ware ba je maje banam ji jewa nyamba me ba yo gone gondo pe bara sho gare ra be ko we jenga de pendan de wa male jo chere ze wa de de ja do shabe se ba do de tobzo jaje jango jabe de zenjo pe ko zo do ba jo chozo ko we le me do ba da zo de je gondo Shabden Jezalami Gozera de Jinanga Tele Jamato Rosa Tembe Mesazuni Dove Mazeta Je Juro Je Javakundo Yanda Lama Tamechi Pelon Sadalam and thereafter Doje Janje Gomanyo Dojo Pama Semjetam Jeta de Mirotam Jeta Doma Josepa Kana Sujo the Dakunya Mola Semjaneva Yudoneleta Juju Male Tado Jongwa me barai jo bedan zo wa mi ge be jen no ba za jen jere wa kun de be sama che de be ta ji sho ta do be de ob de zum de zam ta do be de ob de ne zum de zam ji ta do be de ob de ne om de de zam ji jum de jo da jma da ba zo be zan je me jela be de ja ba la cha jum de jo da jma da ba zo be zan mo da ma la de ra de be ja ba la cha zal sha je om ba de ba ba me ma za sa da je ne se de je ko je de me lo de me mo la je be nyo do sho nyi mon de le sin de le nyi me ko yan de le ni ze ta do de le Konjo somje da shi sho. Okay, thank you. Rejoice completing this text, and please take good care of yourself, and please take good care of each other. Okay, take care. Bye bye.